Modern quilting is the buzzword in the sewing and quilting field, and with me today is Weeks Ringel, author, publisher, designer, teacher, lecturer, fabric designer.
Yes.
Of all things quilting and primarily modern quilts. And
absolutely.
Weeks, why don't you explain to our viewers what you think of as modern quilting?
Well, my husband, Bill Kerr, and I began in 1999 wanting to have a new option for quilters to look at motifs and inspiration from technology and the new types of fabric and tools that were available to quilters. So we wanted to develop designs that were different from traditional designs and that were motifs of the time in which we live. So we wanted to have new patterns and new techniques and new ways of thinking about quilting that were reflective of our current day.
I think a great example is right behind us, and it's a design called swatches.
Right.
And explain how your terminology is reflected in this fabric.
Yes. Well, this is swatch right behind us, and it's all about transparency, and that it looks like the fabrics are actually translucent, and you can see through them. And it's actually very simply done with overlaying two colors and looking at the medium value between a dark and a light. So it's only really possible with modern day fabrics where you can get that perfect color work from the variety of fabrics available
And it's
to us.
not a traditional pattern. It's,
exactly.
It's not a tumbler. It's not a hexagon.
Right,
it's,
churn dash or something.
Sure.
Right.
And I have this beautiful quilt on my
thank you.
lap.
Yes.
And has an interesting name.
Right. It's called glyphs. And
As in
hieroglyphs,
Sure.
or as in pictograms. And this was inspired by, I lived in Japan for almost 8 years out of college and studied Japanese in college and became interested in the Chinese characters and the derivations of them because they were pictograms inspired by daily life.
And this really isn't a pattern, it's an improvisational process.
Exactly. So each one is different.
There's in modern quilting, in that loose term,
Yes.
there's a lot of use of solids.
Yes.
And importance of the background fabric.
Right. I think a lot of people, my theory is that women learn about color getting dressed and decorating their houses. And so they grow up thinking that everything should match. But I think in actuality, sometimes having the background color not match anything else in the blocks sets them off a little bit more.
It gives it an automatic frame, even though you don't have a frame.
And we also love the combination of drabs and color, because the drabs make the color look so much more luminous.
Sure, it really pops.
Yes,
the pop of color.
Exactly.
And your stitching is also sometimes more linear than in a traditional form.
Right. Well, I think, in this case, this is a technique that we developed called labyrinth quilting. And so you can see that there's a labyrinth.
Yeah, sure.
It's all one continuous line throughout the entire quilt, but you can see that it doesn't overlap the exact block. It's an entirely different design layer.
So you're not shadowing, radiating out. You're just, it's a design on top of a design.
Exactly. It's a different design layer. And we kind of go for, if it's a complex quilt like this, we go for a simple pattern, and if it's a simple quilt, we go for a complex pattern.
Well, Weeks, this is inspirational to see
good.
Beautiful fabric color combinations.
Thank you.
Interesting quilting designs, and that really there are no rules that you can't break.
Other than good craftsmanship.
Which you certainly have.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for being our guest.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for coming in.
You're welcome.
Thanks.